Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
It's the Todd and Erin morning stream on GetPartDaily.com. Thanks for joining us. We got tons of stuff we're going to show you, but first let's go to the Mountain King.
I think we should. Good morning. It's brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Darker and darker and darker, and soon colder and nastier. What happened to our fall? I feel very cheated. This is not fall. This is chilly, early winter.
Complaining about weather. It just
I can
happens.
totally complain.
Well, you can, but I'm tired of hearing it.
Okay, well, here's the deal. If you
go in the other room and complain.
Okay, if you hadn't brought up that stupid lobster a month ago, that dumb lobster in Maine that went, oh yeah, it's going to be another 6 weeks this summer, I would not feel so cheated. But I trusted the lobster because you insisted that the lobster had accuracy.
No, I want to eat the lobster.
Now
it's
the
totally
lobster's
different.
betrayed us.
All right, are you done? Have you vented?
The fire.
We've got some stories. Our friends are going through that right now in California.
Napa
wine
Valley,
country.
Sonoma Valley. Our wines will never be the same.
Celebrity sighting by me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Say so. 90-year-old who's mocking the specter of death by skydiving every year, which is epic.
And finishing up a show with the new Star Wars trailer that a lot of people saw during Monday Night Football last night on ESPN. I want to do something for you guys to start your day off. And a lot of people, I've got a day and there's nothing magical about it yet. I know it's still kind of early, but I want to do this for you. Hang on. I'll explain this first of all. Yesterday, Erin said, "Why don't you take your phone in because it's ridiculous because this thing was just like cracked."
The glass was so shattered that the phone would just shut off because it's like I don't understand what command you're trying to give me because all the pressure points were screwed up because
I will now give you a satisfying moment. I got to get it just right so you can see it. All right, there you go.
There's the phone.
And there is, and there is the temporary plastic coating. All right, go to the close-up again, because here it comes. Ready? The temporary covering for the brand new glass. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Satisfying?
There's something intensely satisfying
there
in that,
is
isn't
something
there?
incredibly...
I even feel happy seeing that.
See? I really suck at getting in the camera. There you go.
No, look good.
I don't even want to touch it now. I don't even want to touch it because it's perfect.
Congratulations.
There's not a
really
smudge
is.
on it.
It is pristine.
I could leave this at a crime scene and they'd never know it was me because there's no fingerprint on this.
Were you planning on leaving it at a crime scene?
Was I planning a crime?
Anything involving my death? Because I haven't paid up the life insurance yet. I just wanted to remind you.
As you know. So our friend, we got notification on Facebook yesterday that she's up in Sonoma Valley in California, wine country. They own a vineyard, actually. And in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, Catherine's one of our favorite people in the world. I mean, best job ever. Can you imagine working in a vineyard?
Her and her husband, and it's a family biz, and it's just great. And the fire, of course, up there. Unbelievable. And she said, well, show them this is the California Highway Patrol, and they're just running through the area and kind of giving you an idea.
Wow. It's
now
like
that
lava. Look at the way it tore down the mountain.
That is not
like lava.
representative of what this fire looks like. This fire looks like charcoal.
Wow.
Like that, but acres and acres. Anyway, she had pictures of this thing coming up over the hill towards her vineyard, and they were asked to evacuate rather abruptly, and so because of the wind change. And finally the wind changed and the fire doubled back on itself and burned itself out with the fuel, but they were still worried about it. And so
it's like lava. Look at it go down like that.
But I mean, we're talking acres at a time on fire. Anyway, so they spent the night in their tasting room, which is a cave, because a lot of the wineries have caves where they take the barrels of wine and have them ferment. And so they grabbed all their friends because they wanted to be close to their properties, and some of the danger had left, so they went underneath, they shut the big doors, and spent the night.
We've been in that cave before. Mm-hmm. Lisa Mulcahy's cave. That's incredible to me.
So anyway.
And that's the most beautiful, to me, that's the most beautiful part of California. And the heartbreaking thing is that's incredibly valuable real estate because those vines have been nurtured and cultivated
Screw
for
the vines.
100 years, 150 years.
If we have a fire here, we lose 6 or 8, 10 houses. That's a big deal. They lost 1,500 homes, totally destroyed.
In one day.
Including a Walmart, including a Sheraton hotel. All those things, gas stations, everything, gone. And it looks like a bomb went off. And all I'm saying is it's the biggest fire in the history of California. Ugh. And it's taken 10 lives, I believe.
And the wind's brutal. Yeah, so they couldn't even fire. I mean, if you're at a point where you're just trying to get people out and you can't even fight the fire, that's really scary.
It just moves so fast up there. And
well,
so, anyway, she's safe.
Arizona and Utah both sent in 2 of their air tankers that we used to fight fires, and I don't think they've used those in California before, so hopefully that's going to give them some kind of a...
Utah to the rescue again. It's nice that our state gets to help other people. It's kind of cool.
Well, we do have a lot of heroes here, though, and it makes me really happy. This wasn't mentioned yesterday when I heard this news, and I was thinking, oh, that's awful, because anyone who's ever worked as a late-night clerk, like at 7-Eleven or Maverick, one of those things, it's just... It can be like the worst thing. It can be surreal because you meet so many personalities, but the danger is really high. And this man barely got out of jail, Edwin Ogando, and he went into a Maverick and he started tearing things apart and knocking things over. So obviously the poor woman called 911 who was there at the Maverick. By the time they got there, the man had jumped over and he had stabbed the poor clerk multiple times with his pocket knife. However, her life was saved. 2 men who were at the store to make a delivery, they saw him acting strangely, so they were kind of following him around.
Right.
And when they realized that they heard the screaming, they realized he'd gotten his arms around her. So he went back in the store to help the woman while his partner called 911 and described exactly what was going on. But he said, I reached in, grabbed the girl by her left arm, pulled her, she shoves him, and she was able to wiggle out and escape. So then what they did is they got everybody out of the store, and then they barricaded themselves against the store door to keep him inside.
Oh, nice.
And then they did first aid for the girl while they were keeping him in there. So
and she's recovering, isn't she?
Yeah, but it was pretty, I mean, he could have killed her. I mean, no one was able to help her. So for Tony and Reyes, you guys are amazing. So thank you for everything you guys did.
There seems to be a lot of heroes around here because there's another story of a man finding a missing girl.
Oh, this one just killed me. This is actually...
And what a great twist at the end.
This is from Minnesota, and it was incredible. Police Chief Rick Weifels said, we witnessed an incredible example of kindness today. This was a 15-year-old girl. She was abducted from home in August, and it was pretty terrible. What had happened to her was bad. Everyone obviously started putting together money and trying to find a reward so they could find out what was going on. This smart girl managed to swim across the lake. She got out from where she'd been held, and she literally swam across the lake to try to get away. And what happened is that Earl Melchert was out there fishing. He spotted her and he said, what's going on?
Are you kidding me?
She's like sitting there dripping wet. And so I guess the guy was coming after her. He yanked her out of the water and got her into his car. Yeah, the good guy, Melchert. Yeah. And drove her to the hospital immediately, called and told the police where this guy was.
Right.
Got her into treatment. It's a month later, and she finally said, I would like to meet him. Could I meet Earl, the guy who saved me?
Sure.
And what they had done is they did a little presentation where they gave him the money. Gave him
what money?
The reward money, the big check for finding her.
How much was it?
It was a considerable amount of money. They said $7,000, but that is actually inaccurate. It was over $125,000 by the time they finished the fundraising.
No.
For the reward.
Wow.
So they gave him the check, and he turned around and he says, "You're going to need this." Because you got a great life ahead of you, and this is going to help you get ready for school.
He gave her the money?
College and all those things, and he gave her $125,000.
Wow. That is awesome.
And the police chief and all of the reporters and everyone who's there with the presentation just went...
Lost it.
No one could say a word.
Oh, my gosh.
And they said, did you even think about it? And he goes, well, no, she's going to need this money.
That is amazing.
So, yes. It's very... I really like starting off with... The remembrance that there's more good,
right,
and there's more better people and happy people and kind people and courageous people than the other way.
This is true.
Because if we all start the morning just tipping over into the happy side, even if it's like 51% happy,
right,
if we can all get into that, it tips the entire global system.
Plus, you
over.
had the screen plastic removal.
So so far this day is just incredible.
All right, I want you to think about scary things for Halloween. What is scary about Halloween? Erin, go.
All the really good horrible movies and some people's really unnaturally macabre decorations.
All right, forget the.
Go on
just
my
talk
Pinterest
about
page if you haven't seen those.
If what thing scares you, then forget Halloween now. And go to things that terrify you. Go.
I like big spiders like tarantulas, but the horrible little juicy ones make me lose myself. I just lose it every time.
I've been killing a lot of spiders around our house lately.
We're like a block away from our old house, and it's like this whole new species of all these different spiders I've never seen before.
You keep saying they're trying to get in.
They are trying to get in.
So the little spiders are the ones that bug you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate that. And then cockroaches, of course, and
Cockroaches
then clowns.
are gross.
Clowns are horrible. Clowns are the worst. I would rather eat a cockroach than look at a clown.
There's something new and worse.
Really?
Uh-huh. Has anybody ever had head lice?
So have you.
Oh, that's right, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ew. And then you end
Kids from school.
Then you end
Surprise.
You end up sitting in the tub naked with that crap on your head, and you're just like.
No, the worst part is when we were combing each other's
You don't
hair
have to
out.
be naked. I just chose that.
We held down the kids and got them combed out, the girls, but yeah, it was sitting there and combing each other's hair out that was the worst. And at one point I said, gotcha, and you said, please don't talk to them anymore.
Don't talk to my guys.
You were very traumatized.
And then you got to comb it out and get the eggs. So anyway, this time of year, boom, it explodes.
Head lice?
Yes.
Is it because the kids are back in school and everyone's...
That, but there's something else.
What?
People are trying on Halloween costumes in the store.
Oh.
Ew.
Yes, they are. Yeah. I
And they're
thought of
trying
that.
on wigs, masks,
Hats.
and hats. Ugh.
And then they're taking them back off.
And they're hanging them back up. Then you come along. And you got lice. This is the funny part.
Note to self, purchase no costume that has not been vacuum sealed.
Right.
Remember that.
So this is what they're suggesting you do, which is hilarious, is if you get a wig from the store and you plan to wear it, that you should wear a bathing cap underneath it as a barrier. All right, now first of all,
Or maybe just...
not get the wig.
Yeah.
Would you really put a bathing cap on and put a wig on that you might think would have lice? And would that ruin your Halloweening? I think so.
I'm unclear on where they think, hey, I know that your wig is lice-ridden, but put on the bathing cap first. Really?
I don't think
How
that's
about if I
gonna work.
take it with a 50-foot battle lance and I fling it into the street and stomp on it screaming?
Now, if you do have a wig and you bought it at the store and you looked in it and it's full of eggs and crazy little moving things, all you have to do is put it inside a plastic sealed bag, like Ziploc bag. And you have to leave it there for 48 hours. 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And then all the critters die.
They don't.
They only live from 24 to 48 hours.
No, because there's like super lice. No, nothing's coming in the house, and it's not going in the freezer.
No, you don't have to freeze it. You just keep them in one place, and they all die. And then you take them out, and you just shake the dead ones out and put it on your head. That's scary. Oh.
All right, I'd rather kiss a clown. I just changed my mind.
Really?
I'd rather kiss a clown than
open
that.
mouth or not?
I would be fine with that as long as I don't have to wear the lice wig. That is
All right,
just the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Let's get some information.
What is wrong?
It's
brought to you.
What?
Stacey's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom, and it's brought to you
All
by
right.
Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. Do you know you can get a mortgage for as low as a 600 credit score? You can go to fink-mcgregor.com for more information. Also by Columbus Travel, they are having their screaming deal this month on cruises, just epic vacations everywhere. You can also sign up for flash deals at columbusvacations.com. And I buy All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John will be out there 24 hours a day should you need him. He's that kind of guy. Go to allutahplumbing.com for more information. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. I'm totally grossed out too by the lice. Hello, everyone. Here's what's making headlines Tuesday, October the 10th on GephartDaily.com. Police have identified a man they say broke into an Orem home late Sunday evening and beat a 34-year-old mother unconscious with a piece of PVC pipe. Police say 21-year-old Rodolfo Villalobos randomly broke into the home near 600 North, 400 West around 11:30 p.m. They say he also beat and bloodied the woman's 4-year-old daughter who was inside the home with two other siblings, ages 1 and 7. Villalobos was found nearby, lying in the street after the attack. He's now been booked on charges of attempted murder, aggravated burglary, child abuse, obstruction of justice, and resisting arrest. Both mom and daughter are expected to recover. Sad news out of southern Utah, where an elderly man is dead after rolling his truck on southbound I-15 Monday. The UHP says 81-year-old Wyoming resident Edwin L. Smith was just north of St. George near milepost 32 when he lost control of his truck and the trailer he was hauling. A medical helicopter was dispatched to the scene, but Grover did not pull through. The exact cause of the crash remains under investigation. And a great deal of anticipation in Salt Lake City Tuesday as Hogle Zoo introduces 2 new additions, polar bears Hope and Nora. The 2-year-old Bruins arrived last month and have been spending time getting to know their keepers, their new home, and each other, and now they're ready to meet the public. Nora was born in Ohio's Columbus Zoo back in 2015, while Hope comes from her namesake, the town of Point Hope, Alaska. And time now for a look at the weather along the Wasatch Front, where you can expect highs in the 60s and even the 70s over the next 3 days. Nighttime lows will be in the 30s and 40s, and I'm pretty sure the polar bears will be down with that. That's all for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to gebhardtdaily.com. And Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you. You know, I hate to torture you with this, but you know that Columbus Travel has this incredible tour deal of all of the fall foliage up in the favorite part of the country for us, which of course would be New England, where you're from, where the leaves are.
Right.
And it's an incredible deal.
But you know what
And you know what? You can actually get airfare and the hotels
Right.
and the car cheaper with Columbus than you could do for just the airfare back up there.
Plus, they have all the free giveaways and the stuff on the ship, where you get like free meals and stuff like that, or free excursions. I always think about Mexico. I always think about tropical. I always think about warm. I think about sand. I think about drinking out of a coconut. I think about just relaxing. There I am, except better looking, drinking out of a coconut, and that's because of Columbus Travel. And I like to snorkel, and I like to be on the beach, and why not do that? Go ahead and look online, get some pictures, then go to Columbus Travel, and they're going to throw all the extras in. And next thing you know, they can do an all-inclusive vacation in Mexico. You don't even have to tip. That's already worked into the whole deal.
No, I mean, even transfers to the airport.
Food,
it's that good.
everything, just
Well,
Columbus Travel.
And that's the nice thing. They say on average, the person saves $452 per vacation if you go through Columbus Travel versus trying to do it yourself. So why bother to do it yourself and use effort when you don't have to? As a matter of fact, I'm calling them this week because Todd and I were thinking about taking the kids down to Mexico.
We were?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was going to mention
tell
it
me
to you
something.
like a day before or something.
Tell me something good. Why are we packing? Tell me something good.
Okay, this one's really intense. And as always, tell me something's good.
All right, let me do
Start
this.
out kind of like...
Start out horrible. But if you stick with the story.
All right, Kevin Walsh. He had met Blake when they were at summer camp when they were 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And even when they were 13 years old, Kevin said she was the prettiest girl I'd ever seen.
How old?
13.
Oh, there you go.
And so they kind of stayed in contact with, instant messaging and phone calls in the following years and kind of knew each other. And then eventually they lost touch, which happens. He lives in Indianapolis. She lived in Michigan. But one day, about a year after they stopped talking, it was literally divine intervention because Blake was thinking about Kevin for some reason. And went, oh, I'm going to call him and just see what's going on. How you doing? So literally it had been a year. I mean,
right.
No contact.
It happens.
She went, hey, Kev, what's going on? How are you? Due to a string of events, Kevin said he was literally seconds away from taking his own life.
Oh, no.
Things had been so bad, and he had been so unable to overcome what had happened to him. He had already written out his suicide note. He had taken his father's gun.
What?
It was literally on the desk in front of him.
Wow.
Which is another reason for gun locks.
And she calls.
And she calls out of nowhere, and his phone's vibrating. He picks up, and it's Blake, and he goes, hello? And they start talking, and after about half
Does she know yet?
No.
That he's going to...
And so after half an hour, she goes, you sound really weird. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. And that's when he says, I was going to kill myself.
Whoa.
And so she's like,
okay.
Put everything down and let's go sit in the other room.
Right.
And made him go sit in the living room away from everything. He said, let's talk. So they talked for a good 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
They went through it. She talked about what he was planning, how everything went.
Right.
She then stayed on the phone. She says, I'm staying on the phone. You go back in. Now pick up the gun. disarm it, go
Right.
put it in your back in your dad's
Right.
safe.
Right.
I don't know where he had it, but
Right.
put it back. She walked him through all the steps, and she said, now sit down and look at the note again. She says, can
Right.
you fold it up and put it in the desk? Now, I
Interesting.
want to point something out. These
Interesting.
kids are only 17 years old.
Oh, they're 17?
17 years old.
I thought
And
they
this-
were like, oh, okay.
And see, they had met when they were 13, but then they'd lost touch
Right,
when they were around 16
right.
or so. 17-year-old girl is going through these steps with him.
Trying to figure it
She
out.
still hasn't told anybody.
Right.
She's like, we're going to just do this. So she said, okay. And after several hours, she said, do you feel like you can sleep now? And he says, I think I can. She goes, you have to make a promise to me
Right.
that you can't take your life until we talk tomorrow. She
Get
goes-
some help, find
she-
out where he
she
can
says,
go.
Make a promise that you can't do it till then. And
Right.
he went, okay. So by the time she called the next day, he had talked, he'd kept his promise.
Right.
He hadn't killed himself.
Right.
By then, she'd gotten some information from her mom, and they'd kind of worked through some things.
But where to go?
His parents weren't really involved and didn't have a lot of interest, and so she actually found the mental health counselor at his
Right.
school, went
Right.
through a few different things, and
Right.
said, I would like you to make me a promise that you will not kill yourself until you talk to this guy at school. So he made that promise. So day by day, she would call him and go, you have to make me a promise
Right.
that you won't do this until we talk tomorrow.
Right.
And then the agreements became longer and longer until after a couple of months he said, no,
So he was
I
working
will
it.
tell you I won't do this.
Right.
And this is a 17-year-old girl, once again. So they became close friends, and they talked every day for months.
And he's still going to therapy and helping himself out. Okay.
And then they fell in love. They started dating. And
Get
then
out.
10 years after that fateful phone call,
Wow.
Kevin proposed, and she accepted. And during his proposal, he said, I love you, and also thanks for saving my life. And now they've been married for 7 years.
Trying to make me cry again. You jerk.
That's pretty cool. You have
That
to
is way
And look
cool.
how cute they are.
Oh, look
They're
how
so freaking
they're
adorable.
adorable.
They're so cute. And thanks for saving my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so I would just like to say that I am a star of, what do you call them? Paparazzi. No,
Star spotter?
star spotter. Yesterday, I'm working in the driveway, doing driveway work, and
You were sawing our daughter's arm 1.5.
we'll explain that later. And walking by right here, John Huntsman Jr. and his lovely wife,
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, walked right by, turned, he has that gray flares there.
The swoopy thing because
Yeah,
he's perfect,
she
so
had-
it's like that elegant touch.
She had the blonde hair that came down and was like this, and I didn't say anything. They walked by. They kind of looked at me, and then they kind of eyes forward because they didn't want to have a hassle because they're just walking. They're normal people. Here they are in my neighborhood visiting the poor.
And he was wearing shorts, so he must have been really freaking cold.
But they were really stylish,
They actually have a house like 6 blocks from there.
rich person's shorts. And so anyway,
were.
I went in. I said, Erin,
I noticed.
Huntsman Jr. just walked by.
Okay, I was out there. I started walking out as you said that,
Afterwards.
and I actually
I
saw
went,
them
"Look
walking
down
down
there.
the street.
Look down there.
And they were
That's
walking
Huntsman
very
Jr.
fast. I think it's because they saw us looking at them and they were creeped out. It was not John Huntsman. He's
Why?
in Russia.
And why? You said that? Okay.
The only thing, here are the two things in your favor. Number one,
Yeah.
it did look surprisingly like them. I didn't get a
was.
close up of their
It
faces,
was.
but
It
it
was.
looked like what they look like.
It
Number
was.
two is they have a house like 6 blocks away.
Yeah.
He's in Russia.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that like 6 days ago, Putin was giving him
Okay.
his ambassadorial papers?
I present evidence, Article 1. Here it is. It is the piece of paper which has the, there we go. Oh, official White House document. And what does that say, Erin? Here,
President
can read
Donald
this
Trump
right
is
here.
U.S. Ambassador Russia,
Uh-huh.
John Huntsman Jr. with
Yep.
his wife Mary Kay.
Yep.
To wish them well as they
Yep.
return to Moscow to
Yep.
represent the United States.
And
That
they're-
was October 6th, which
October
was
6th.
Friday, right?
Right. So they're in the U.S.
Returning to Moscow.
Why wouldn't you go to your house
But
Among the
White
poor
House
people
thing said return to Moscow.
and gather your things to go to Russia? And then a little stressed because you're going to Russia, why not take a little walk with your wife? I rest my case. It was John Huntsman Jr.
Even the press release says, hey, you're returning to Moscow. Good luck with that.
They didn't say when, did they? Maybe on the 11th, which would be tomorrow. I rest my
Man,
case.
he even said we've got like the worst relations we've had with Russia since the Cold War, which is like, but you know what? Huntsman's smooth. He's just like one of those guys. You know those guys that are always like smooth and you talk to them, you're like butter. I mean, you can't find anything wrong with them.
Yeah,
you look at him, you're like, okay, you're awesome.
Except for the Russians poison people with radioactive stuff.
Yeah, but he's got that sheen of awesome on him, and it will
Says
just
protect
pew,
him.
pew, pew. It'll bounce off him.
What noise? What?
Pew, pew, pew. It'll bounce off him. All the little radiation bits, they'll just... Because he's got... Am I wrong? We all know John Huntsman Jr. The man is smooth. It's the sheen of awesome that covers his entire body.
People who bump people off because they don't...
Pew, pew, pew.
Okay, don't do that anymore because
It's
that's
true, though.
annoying.
You asked me to. It's your own fault. No, he's got the awesome shield. See, Vicky's... Yeah, am I right? I know, right?
On Facebook? Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Okay. I got to tell you, coming up next, women do more work
I
than
don't
men.
think it was John. Does anyone know, by the way, if John Huntsman Jr. and his wife Mary Kay are in Salt Lake? If they are, then I will bow to my husband and go,
I saw
you're
them.
You're right, but I'm
I saw them.
99% certain he's in Moscow.
Are women doing more work than men? That's coming up.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. Fink and McGregor, mortgages made simple. Make sure you go to fink-mcgregor.com and try out their 4-minute mortgage program. It's incredibly easy to find out whether you qualify. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at gephardtdaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
All right, there you go.
Kurohara's Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch. This is like your
pretty
little Pinterest-inspired thing where they have
scary.
3 different areas, like the Princess Pumpkin Patch, and then they've got the Frankenstein one, and the Nightmare Before Christmas one. With all of the cool, like, custom pumpkins that go with each one. I did not know they have pink ones, and they're adorable. They were in the Princess one, in the Princess Pumpkin Patch.
Well, tell me about the wagon full of pumpkin.
Oh, if you wanted to drop a comment on the show today about Kurohara's, by the way, did you know admission is free? And they have a little farmer's market there where you can buy stuff as well. The
Apples,
pumpkins
pears.
are like incredibly affordable. They're not like the expensive designer ones. They do shows every night for free. It's really fun.
All right, let's talk
But if you
about-
want to make a comment, you can go and take one of their wagons and fill it to the brim with pumpkins. And I think we're giving away 6 of those.
There is
So that's pretty cool.
There's a new sport in Utah, and it's called throwing old people out of planes.
I think it's pretty cool.
Throw mama from the train, now it's throw mama from the plane.
All right. This is amazing to me because about 6 months ago, family members and friends of Trudy Joseph traveled to Salt Lake to say goodbye to their mother. She was 89. She looked like she'd been
What do
on
you
her
mean?
deathbed. She had some very serious medical setbacks.
Okay.
And so it's like my Uncle Armand, remember? And we were all incredibly sad and crying, and it was a rough time. Well, Friday they gathered again, this time to watch Trudy leap out of an airplane.
Same woman?
Yes, she undertook it in honor of her 90th birthday. She goes, it just feels good. She
So
was in
just wait a
Tualavala
minute.
in Urda.
So she's on her deathbed? No.
And then 6 months later, she's
6
jumping out
months
of a
later,
plane.
she's being thrown.
Much like my Uncle Armand that we all insisted was going to die, and you kept going, I think he's going to be fine. And we're like, no.
All right, I have
it's
to tell
almost-
this story. So, Erin, we live a little bit, 6 or 8 blocks away from the University Hospital, and her uncle
My Uncle Armand, the patriarch of the family.
ends up being thrown into the hospital. It's like tragic. And
Life flight from St.
big stuff.
George. Really
Relatives
scary.
were coming from everywhere, southern Utah, and they were gathering around, and they were comforting each other. And there he goes. Erin goes up, comes back at the end of the day, and she cries, and I hold her, and she says, it's just going to be really quick. And then she goes the next day, and she comes back, and she comes in, she's crying, and I comfort her, and she goes, it's just a matter of days. And then she goes the next day, and she comes back, and I comfort her, and she goes, hours. And then she goes back, and she comes back, and I kept saying, I don't think he's going to die. You keep going. Maybe you should have some positive energy going here. And she comes back the next day, and she goes, they're letting him out of the hospital today. And I said,
When he said, I think he's going to be fine, I'm like, you are such an insensitive dick. He is not. Why can't you just comfort me? He's like, I think he'll be fine. No, he won't.
you guys were like talking him into the grave. All right, so this
And Farmer
elderly
was always
woman.
a stubborn man.
She's jumping out of a plane, and why shouldn't she? She's 90. What does she have to lose?
She's 90 years old. It was very funny. Her first skydive was for her 80th birthday.
Right.
And that was because her husband dared her to. And then 3 years later, her husband Charlie passed away.
Right.
And before he passed away, he goes, "I'd like you to jump out of an airplane again because you had so much fun."
Okay.
And he goes, "And I think it will really cheer you up when I pass away."
Right.
And so she went for her second skydive jump. Now, after the last 6 months and how intense everything had been, and her stubborn little body fought back.
Are you gonna have a bad ending to this?
No, her stubborn little body fought back into
okay.
health.
All right.
And so all of her friends and family went, "We're coming back to see this one out, Trudy, because you're rocking this." So
Right.
they all came out, and you've got her little skinny body,
Right.
and she's strapped onto the back of her tandem jump. She's like, "I'm ready," and so he jumps out, and they're all taking video and pictures of their totally epic Nana, who's
my
90
gosh.
years old,
That's crazy.
floating gracefully to the earth. So if you think you're too old to start doing adventures, then Trudy is laughing at you right now.
Oh my gosh.
She might even say pshaw, because I think 90-year-olds still use that word.
The good thing is she was
go,
already
Trudy.
wearing Depends, so when I did it, there was an issue there. For her, no problem whatsoever. You've been to a baseball game, haven't you? You've been to a baseball game.
Everybody's been to a baseball
we've
game
been
if
to
you're
the
an
baseball-
American.
If you were American.
American?
I don't know if you've ever sat in the death seats, and the death seats are the seats that are down close to the first baseline. And the reason
And
being
everyone
is,
wants to sit close. It's all dramatic. You get to see the slides. That's very exciting.
so imagine a pitch going in across the plate at 89 miles an hour, 94 miles an hour. The guy hits it with a bat, and it goes down the first baseline and goes foul. And when it goes foul, it goes into the crowd. You've seen the shots where people like shielding themselves.
But they also want the ball really bad. So.
Well, no, you don't see it coming because it's coming at like 100 miles an hour, and people are holding small kids up to shield themselves. You've seen this, and so it's broken bats go into the crowd. It is the worst place. It's like sitting really close to the fence on a turn at NASCAR. Where thing will blow up and fire will spray into the crowd.
And you're like, really?
It's just not. It's just not the smart place to sit. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too safety oriented. But this guy's dad, who is 60 years old, gets clipped by a foul ball, hits him right in the head, and he falls to the ground. And he ends up being blind in one eye.
Yeah, 90 miles an hour, I can see that happening.
Now, there was a guideline where they wanted to extend the fencing down the first baseline, and the Cubs did follow that. And now the guy is suing. And this I find really interesting. The guy is suing the Cubs, basically, for damages. How much do you think he's suing them for? What would you think?
Like 10 million.
Right. Wouldn't you think? Like 10 million?
Yeah, I mean, some gigantic, outrageous number, I'm sure.
He's suing them for $50,000 because it's medical expenses.
Really? That's all he just wants the medical
He
expenses
just wants
covered.
the medical expenses and any equipment his dad is going to need because he is now blind in one eye, which affects if you drive, the depth perception is gone.
Balance, all of that, yeah.
I think they should pay him. Even though he's sitting in the death seat, I think they should pay him $50,000. They make that on pot dogs alone.
Well, one argument they did have is that Wrigley Field didn't have enough spectator netting.
Well, they did follow the guidelines, but you sit in those seats. You take your eye off the play, and even if you do, ducking a 100-mile-an-hour ball is really tough unless you got the kid up in front of you, and that's where don't do that, by the way. That's just mean.
You're horrible. Well, you do remember that story of that guy at Wrigley Field, though, who saw the ball coming at him, and here's the worst part. It was like the dad, and he leans down like this.
And so
the kid is sitting there, and the mascot sees it and throws himself across the kid, and he's the one who gets hit.
Oh my gosh.
The dad ducks away, and
Dad
the kid's
ducks
sitting here
away.
like paralyzed, and it was the mascot that
The
saved
mascot
him.
just comes in and swallows the kid like this, boonk off his head, but it's padded.
Wow.
What a great mascot.
I'm torn on that just because it's such a reasonable sum that I'm kind of like, yeah, you should take him seriously because that's a good point.
How do we do at home as far as chores go? And childcare? How do we do equal-wise? Or not, that's not the right thing. How do you
I
think
pick
we
up most
do?
of the dog poop and I do all the mowing and
But you took over I might add.
It was very satisfying.
And I trade out, let you use the blower because the leaf blower is like her favorite thing.
Let's be honest, I do the vast majority of the housework, but you do the cooking, and on the weekends, you let me sleep in, and you get up with the kids every day.
That's true, I do.
And sometimes on Friday, if we're running late, you're the one that takes the kids to school. So
Right.
I think we're even.
Okay.
Because you know that sleeping in is like the best thing you could ever do for me. And you get up without complaint every single
I
time.
could,
So I think we're
I complain, but just under my breath.
I think we're even. Do you? Do you feel like we share the duties equally?
Yeah, well, see, what happens is during the week, they see that couples, oh, by the way, if she is sleeping and one of us has to get up, you could basically negotiate anything with her. You could say, I would like your liver, and I would get her liver. I could say, I want you to make me pistachio ice cream for the rest of my life, every day. And she would agree to that. Because she likes sleeping so much. She's sleeping beauty.
Sleeping in.
So the couples, they found a study, is the fact that during the week, and this is when you have younger kids.
Because they wanted to know about dual earner couples.
Right.
How are they sharing housework and
All right.
childcare with younger children in particular?
So during the week, it's all good. During the week, it's like, okay, dad, mom, doing it, kids, school, soccer, and all stuff. But what happens on the weekends?
Because what they were finding was even couples with really progressive views on gender roles fall into patterns of gender inequality on the weekends. What they were finding is that these are all, highly educated. They both work, dual income, and they found that the 20th century patterns were still there. Women would shoulder a slightly larger load during the week, but on the weekend is when men would start relaxing and taking it easy, starting to watch shows.
Right.
On weekends or days when neither parent works, dads were more likely to engage in leisure activities, while women would continue to do the same patterns of doing all the housework, taking care of the infant when there's more time available on the weekends and people aren't as pressed to get things done.
There's enough food in the couch cushions for the kid to find.
That's where they find the
Doritos.
emergency, they say, of gender inequality, basically meaning the guys are sticking their feet up on the couch and the women are still doing everything.
I'm working for the weekend. I love that song. No, so I'm picturing me, sweatpants, warm socks, on the sectional, which she hates, with the kids.
I bought you that sectional.
We're sitting there, we're watching the Travel Channel, because Zoe likes the cooking shows now, which is awesome, and taking a little time. You have been waiting for the weekend to do horrible things, like cleaning out cabinets and washing the underside of refrigerators, and you just live for that.
I don't really live for it, but it's got to be done.
Does anybody else clean out their dishwasher? Scrub it? Do they? I don't think so. All I'm saying is this weekend, why don't you just take it easy?
And let the house fall to ruins around us.
But in a relaxing fashion.
Mothers, are there any of you that can sit there and relax knowing that your house looks like a goat exploded? I'm just curious, moms. Do you all get to sit and relax thinking, we'll take care of it later?
Plus the whole thing about
moms?
maybe getting away with it, myself relaxing a little bit more, is because I'm hot. Oh, no.
I'm not sure what that even meant, but okay. But anyway, the focus of the story is they were hoping, after seeing this study, that couples would realize the inequality on the weekends and they would go back into the patterns that were already established during the week and try to help each other more during the weekend and thus kind of keep that pattern going.
Why not just go to work 7 days a week? I'm there for you
For
on the
me,
weekends.
it is like that.
That's your problem. You're your own worst enemy. Throw on some sweatpants, get your tablet, relax on the bed, perhaps take a nap, read your stuff.
As the children are setting the house on fire?
No, I'm with them setting the house on fire. Plus, I'm hot. All right.
I'm not even sure how we ended up with that conclusion. But
That I'm hot?
Well, I was going to agree with that right up to this point.
Okay.
Now I'm not so sure.
All right, so this story is scary.
This is a big deal, and I know that I know that it's probably a very good chance that she's not going to be found, but please share this. Please put this up. We're going to put this up today as well. Texas police are looking for Sharon Matthews. She was disappeared after being sent outside alone as punishment for not drinking her milk.
How old was she?
3.
Okay.
Her father locked her out of the house and told her she was spending the night outside alone
Of course he
because
did.
she didn't drink her milk.
Of course he
This,
did.
by the way, is even knowing that there were coyotes in the area.
So they haven't found her, and they've taken her. I heard they took her off the Amber Alert.
Here's the hardest part. They had to take her off the Amber Alert because there was not a suspect or a vehicle description, which is a requirement for the Amber Alert. But nonetheless, this child is still missing. So here's her picture. I'm going to post it today. If you can please look at it, retweet it, repost it, reshare it. I would still like to think there's a possibility.
Right. All right. So coming up next, Rocky Anderson. Remember, he's the mayor no one liked.
Everybody liked Rocky, including us.
He changed his mind about the current mayor. We'll tell you what it is next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
So, Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
How do you do?
Well, you go to our website, 4minutemortgage.com, fill out the application. We'll call you within 1 business day. The whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
We went to the bank
They got really personal.
and went through all of our personal records and all of our finances.
And then there was that little deal about the $8,000 closing costs.
It took like 4 months.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right. Todd and Erin morning stream, GephardtDaily.com. Rocky Anderson, former mayor of Salt
Two-term
Lake
mayor
City.
of Salt Lake City.
Yeah. He has
Outspoken liberal, but a fascinating man.
changed his mind.
Well, it's interesting. He did an official endorsement of Jackie Biskupski back in 2015, and this is how it came up. That was so funny. Is that he? You know how Facebook does those? Hey, this is what was happening 2 years ago. Remember these memories?
Oh, right.
And then it kind of brings up what you were
And
doing
sometimes
around
they're
that
not
time.
good.
No,
I hate that.
sometimes they're really sad.
Remember when your dog got hit by that? Never.
So anyway, this one posted up for Rocky, and apparently he saw that and it just sent him off in a fury last night. He goes, "I was so wrong, mea culpa. Who would have known?" He says, "I find it utterly disgusting. Don't go into office and treat it like it's a part-time job." He said, and this is what I feel like she's done. She drives around with a chauffeur and a bodyguard.
Right.
And there have been some issues about why the fact Jackie has
Right.
been spending over $250,000 a year on private bodyguards.
Right.
But she says she's defaulted on leadership. She's turned over the homeless issue. He was really outraged by a lot of things. But it's just the funny thing that he's...
How it came
When
about.
Rocky starts talking, he gets going, and he's really mad. And he's a personal friend that we both love dearly, and he's one of the kindest, most loyal men you could ever ask for as a friend. But when you tick him off, he's going to go.
Yeah.
And so
He's
Facebook just
got a large
apparently was
mouth.
like kaboom, and it set him off. So in any case,
That is a funny thing that the memories that pop up on Facebook, because we have a friend and he bought this car and he put up big pictures of it and he was like,
it's shiny.
and he's hanging out in front of it, and that car has never given him any rest. It has been the biggest pain in his butt. Engines, transmissions, brakes, axles, everything has gone wrong with this car, and it popped up as a memory, a sweet memory. And
That wasn't that good for him.
Wasn't that good? All right.
It wasn't.
All
All
right.
right, let's go to Daisy in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Mortgages made simple. If you just go to fink-mcgregor.com, within 4 minutes you can find out what kind of mortgages are available for you, and someone will call you back within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Repair. Utah Credit Repair is a fascinating way to help recover your credit. A car loan can count for up to 35% of a credit score, and reaffirming a car loan is not quite the same thing. So you want to get more information from them, and Utah Credit Approval can help you in as little as 5 minutes. Also, of course, by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. You'll be glad you called an expert. BlackDiamondExpert.com. Daisy, what's going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Hello again, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news for Tuesday, October 10th on GephartDaily.com. 10 people died Monday as wildfires ravaged Northern California and the San Francisco Bay Area. The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office is confirming 7 fire-related deaths, while 2 others died in Napa County. A 10th victim was reported in Mendocino County. 1,500 structures have burned so far, causing California Governor Jerry Brown to declare a state of emergency. Officials warn the death toll in the 119,000-acre fire could rise as more than 100 people are reported missing. A Texas Tech University student is suspected of fatally shooting a campus police officer Monday night. The Lubbock Police Department says the officer was shot inside the police station after arresting a 19-year-old student for drug possession. The freshman was being processed when he pulled out a weapon and shot the officer in the head. Investigators have yet to say how the suspect gained access to the gun. And there's news out of North Korea that dictator Kim Jong-un has promoted his sister, Kim Yo-jong, to a top political post. The 28-year-old Jong has worked in a number of governmental roles in the past, including a gig as vice director of the party's propaganda and agitation department. Her new promotion makes her a member of the Political Bureau, the country's top decision-making body. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you. Well, did you see that expression on Kim Jong-un's sister's face? She's just going, I'm smiling because I'm really hoping my brother doesn't have me murdered like he did my uncle and my other uncle and the other uncle from there. So that was a big smile.
Black Diamond.
Black Diamond Experts. Now, when they say Black Diamond Experts, they're pretty serious about this because basically they can fix anything in the house. Electric, plumbing, heating, air, they're there. And this is actually a really important time to be giving them a call because I know none of us really think about the maintenance on stuff like our furnaces and stuff. And maybe you remember to turn off the water outside and you're happy. But there's a lot of different things you're supposed to do when you're like draining the sprinklers and doing all this stuff. And you can probably tell just how I said that I have no freaking idea how to do any
She
of that.
doesn't.
That's why I have a husband. But perhaps you don't have a handy husband, or perhaps you just don't really want to deal with it.
It's over my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is what Black Diamond Experts are for. And the important thing now is actually getting all of your heating systems checked out. Number one, to make sure that they're going at peak efficiency because nobody likes that $600 bill from Questar. We've all been there before. But it's also important to make sure that it's safe. A tiny crack can put enough CO2 in your air to cause irreparable damage to your family. And this is something that they do, and they do it for a very fair, low price. They just want to make sure you're covered. And if you do need work, it's going to be what the bid was. It's not going to be extra. There's not going to be any little surprise charges. It's what they said it was going to be. So go to blackdiamondexpert.com. You can get all the information there. Oh, and they have a brand new store up in Ogden, too, so that's going to help you out as well.
I am looking at this. Utah has we have very good standing in the world as far as different things. Women's businesses, private businesses. Number one in the country.
We're supposed to be super friendly.
We have a love for funeral potatoes. Not that we hope people pass so we can eat them, but you know
I
what I'm
think
saying.
they should be available every minute of the day.
Early on, we had the highest home PC usage in the country.
We were highly computered. It's true.
We are computered.
Computered.
Oh, okay. Well, we are now, get this, climbing the ranks of the basically the states that are saving the most energy. They're more conscious about saving energy.
Ton of different solar panel options now that we've been using.
And it's we're ranking right now national most energy consistent state of conserving energy. Not the top 10 yet.
Look at us.
Not the top 10.
Oh, okay.
But the fastest growing. We're number 4. As a matter of fact, better be sitting down. We buy per capita more electric cars than California does.
You know, because we all assume California is just full of the pre-I, and they're all groovy,
Yeah.
and they're loving the environment. They're going 50 miles an hour on the freeway. But we actually buy more than they do.
Isn't that funny?
No, I think that's really cool. And you're seeing more charging stations now, which is really nice.
I saw them.
But I do love the fact that we actually buy more per capita than they do.
I do.
Because it's back to that sort of low-key Utah thing we do. We're like, okay, we can take care of the environment. We can help out. And they get all the praise of, oh, look, we're like caring for the environment. And we're over here and we actually do better.
I have to point something out. Downtown on Fifth South, the Leonardo on Main Street, big museum and stuff. And outside they have these parking spots where you can actually park in there and plug in.
Same thing on Broadway and 3rd
And
South.
you pay for it. And and so that's kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of cool.
No, let's be honest. You know where the best ones are, the best charging station.
I am now going to tell you where the best ones are because I'm going to explain this first. I have to go to the DMV on 3rd West. It's a pretty good one, by the way. Don't go on it.
This is going to be a long explanation, but it's a long walk to
So
go with it.
when I had to register a car, I had to drive down 3rd. And when I went down 3rd West to go get my car registered, I noticed on the right-hand side, as I'm going to the DMV to register a vehicle, charging stations outside a strip club.
Yeah, honey, I know. I was at the strip club
As
last
I was
night,
going to the DMV to register my car.
but I was energy efficient. The strip club. Good for them. I'm going to go do an interview with the girls. Like, what are your feelings about the environment?
Why
was
do
it
you-
important for you to put
Right,
these charging stations
right.
in? Don't you want to know?
I don't
I
know.
want to know the girls' vision. I do. All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
As I was going to register a vehicle.
All right, we'll be right back in just a minute. There's new technology now that will allow paralyzed people to do things like drive simply by using their thoughts. We'll tell you about it next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
All right, so once again, maybe it sounds like I'm bragging on the state, but we live in a pretty cool place. We have some smart people up at the University of Utah. Think of all the stuff that they have created and all the stuff that they have started.
Like the incredible advancements in treatments for cancer, especially like breast cancer.
It's crazy.
Genetic markers. And
It's crazy. And as a matter of fact, here's to some technology that was pioneered in Utah. And basically, it is a chip that they actually put in your head. This is for people who are paralyzed from the neck down. And so what they did, Nathan Copeland, he was one of their patients, and they went ahead and did it. And he got to meet the president of the United
Obama.
States, and president came out, and they gave each other a bump. He's paralyzed
well,
from the neck down.
Here's the incredible thing about it. Not only did he do the fist bump,
Tell him what he said.
he could actually tell enough sensation to go, the president's hand was really warm.
What?
How cool. So it's not even just movement, it's actually sensation. How cool is that?
So, obviously they're going to take this to the end. They're going to say, okay, and you take people who are paralyzed in that way, and they have figured out ways for them to operate their wheelchairs. They have figured out ways for them to use computers, obviously, on them people that you know. Name something they can't do. It's getting kind of, they're striving and getting more things where they can have a quality of life.
And independence, which is so incredibly amazing.
Now,
It's called the Utah Electrode Array, and it's really a relatively tiny chip.
It is crazy. And so this is going to go, and obviously they're going to take it so you can drive. But all the things leading up to that, imagine what that's going to do. And all they have to do is think of it. And I'm sure it takes training. But how cool is that?
From a chip.
And his hand was warm. University of Utah.
Not just movement, but sensation.
University of Utah.
How amazing are these
Amazing.
people? All right, from amazing to, are you kidding me? You remember how a couple of weeks ago we talked about Joss Whedon, who's a hugely powerful producer and director. Firefly, which was the show, sadly, that we loved. He rebooted the whole thing with a lot of the Marvel stuff like Star Trek. Really talented. He used to get all these awards for his feminism and his support of women, and then it turned out that he was ridiculously misogynistic and had numerous affairs.
Harassment,
yeah, with actresses and even down to fans. Really gross. Well, the latest is Harvey Weinstein, who, if you know, is the Weinstein Company. It's a production company that is possibly one of the 2 or 3 most powerful in Hollywood.
And he does a lot of stuff,
And
quality, wonderful.
well, here's the thing:
things.
Meryl Streep stood up and actually did a really great tribute to him at the SAG Awards last year.
Ooh.
Talked about what a great friend he was and how supportive he'd been of her and
Backing the
how incredible it
actors,
was.
right.
And then they just found out the news, and here's where I have incredible admiration for these women. They finally had enough women raise their voice about what he'd done, and this is actual sexual abuse.
It was like
It was like Bill Cosby, meeting in hotel rooms and meeting at his home, and sexual assault. And there were numerous, and they finally were able to prove it based on how many out-of-pocket settlements he had to make with a lot of these women to shut them up. Now, do you remember Ashley Judd? Remember how Ashley Judd used to do quite a few movies?
Yeah.
She was rising. She was
moving,
a rising
yeah.
star. She did really well.
Right.
And how she abruptly dropped out.
Yeah.
He assaulted her, and she went, "I'm not going to do this anymore." Because she knew a whole bunch of different actresses like Rose McGowan and a bunch of others who had done the thing and just swallowed it and ignored it, and they kept their head down and tried to keep going. She went, "I'm not going to do it anymore."
Right.
She said, "I'm not going to sit here and let somebody sexually assault me, and then I'm going to have to keep seeing this guy
Right.
and try to be nice to him and try to be grateful that he's letting me still work in Hollywood."
It's like the old casting couch thing.
It's nauseating. And the funny thing, of course, is he's got a female attorney. She goes, "Well, it's not sexual assault. It's not that at all. We're going to say there was some misconduct." It's like, lady, there's this list of it. And Meryl Streep went after him like you can't imagine. She said, "Not everybody knew." She said, "But the abuse of power is familiar. Every voice that was raised and heard and credited by the watchdog media finally changes the game." And she said, coming forward about sexual abuse and coercion is scary. And none of these women really had anything to gain by doing so. Ashley Judd was out. It's not like she was like trying to get a new movie role by trying to get attention or anything. She was like, "This is what happened. I'm not gonna be quiet anymore."
What's his situation now? Because I know he's leaving the company.
He was fired.
They're going to change the name.
He was
of it.
fired from the company that
Right.
that holds his name. Yeah, and they're changing the name of the company, and now he's facing multiple sexual assault charges. And good for you. Good for you for standing up and not giving up on it, because that's... And it was the same thing. It was the same pattern of abuse that they saw with Bill Cosby, though. And everyone kept just overlooking it because they're successful. And these people still wanted to work. And not just the women, but the men, too, who saw the abuse. And they knew it was happening.
Right.
But everybody still wanted to work, so they all just kept their mouths shut. And it's like, no, you don't get free. You don't get free reign anymore. It's not going to happen. So good for you, women, for speaking up. And Meryl Streep, good for you for speaking out and really getting their voices heard, because she's heard a lot more than most other people. So good for you.
I think we should offer the women who are watching and listening a little treat.
Okay.
Perhaps a little eye candy.
Yes.
In a respectful way.
Of course.
Would you like to introduce this?
This is the latest trailer from Thor Ragnarok. This is the last one we're going to see before it comes out. It is freaking epic. All the new advanced reviews have come out, and they say this is one of Marvel's top 3. So have a look.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh.
He
that's
is
fresh.
he is yummy. He is yummy.
You'll even say he's yummy.
Yeah.
And then there's the Hulk. Hulk is yummy. The only thing I'm not happy with this one is they really screwed over Loki. Loki, it was supposed to be the story about the two brothers, sort of reuniting.
Yeah.
Because Thor's lost his hammer to Hela, and who's
Don't
absolutely
ruin
beautiful.
it.
She's played by...
Don't ruin it for
It's
people.
in all the previews. Hela's played by Kate Blanchett, who is like the bomb. Look how beautiful she is.
Okay, so here's the
And they're
point.
also introducing a new character called Pegasus.
I don't like-
called Valkyrie. Valkyrie, and she's a new female character, which is cool, because Marvel does not have a lot of female superheroes.
Is my wife into this, do you think?
Are you kidding? I'm so excited.
Yeah.
November 3rd.
Yeah, she's kind of into it.
I'm so excited.
They lost me as soon as the good guys started fighting each other, because that's not the way it should work if you're a superhero. That's just me.
Maybe it is like...
When Iron Man started punching the other good guy, that's like, nah, I'm done. But we want to, first of all, thank you for watching the Todd and Erin morning stream right here on GephartDaily.com. And as if we haven't made your morning great. Remember when I took the protective plastic off my phone? That was great. We just showed you Thor, and the 1-2 punch is coming because last night, halftime, Monday Night Football. Prepare yourself, Erin.
Oh, I didn't get a...
You didn't see it, did you?
No.
All right. Here is the trailer, the newly released last night.
For which one?
Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
No way! No way!
Please do it. Go play.
Show me.
Play. Drop.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.